So that's going live. I'm live. Publish now. Publish now. I think it's working. Maybe it's working. What happens if I hit play here? I don't really know. Okay, yeah, that's live. Sweet. Do I have? I don't think. Let's see, I don't think that's how that's gonna work yet. So I'm going to go ahead and. Do I still have it copied? I think I still have it copied. Yeah, that's still copied. Cool. Let's open Discord and share it there. Oh, this hoodie is still wet. I'm wearing a wet hoodie because it wasn't in the dryer long enough. Fantastic. Do I have volume? Dear God, I hope I have volume. That'll be annoying to fix if I don't. Sorry if someone's here so far. I just haven't notifications wanted. Here be the live stream. Cool. Cool. Nice. Nice. Let's see. So this should be a much more chill live stream. Just the Patreons. Y'all can hear me, right? Is there volume? Because YouTube's not telling. Let's go ahead and move this over to a window where I can properly look at it. All right. Hello. Hello. Hi. Yes. Awesome. Patreons are here. Love it. Yes, can hear. Wonderful. This is a new like over here. This one, her husband was like, we use this one, which is nice and better because you don't want to have an awful, a terrible microphone, and this one's pretty good for all scenarios. And it also means I won't mic for my green screen videos anymore. Thank you for saying nice hoodie, Potato. Thank you. I appreciate the hoodie appreciation because it is my favorite hoodie now. I just got it today, and it's nice and comfy and cozy. Even from the UK, you can hear me loud and clear. That's wonderful. All right, so hello, Azoof. Hello, Dunder Dan. Hello, Brindo, your friendo. Hello, Rachel. I love that I actually, because it's a Patreon live stream, can actually see what you all are saying and respond. So that's nice. I like that I can do that because, oh my God, the real live streams now. I like doing them. Don't get me wrong. It's cool, but there's so much pressure. Ahead of it seems okay now. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Whoa, is there major audio video desync or is it just me? Well, I hope there's not. It's not as hectic. Yeah, it's not as hectic. It's more relaxed. We're more just having fun here. Feel no need. There's no super chats or anything. Don't do that. I should have turned that off. I didn't. Don't do that because I'll be responding to everybody because I can do that now because there's only 20 people here as opposed to like 1,000. So that's nice. It's not as hectic. Yeah. It's interesting. The people I recognize are here now. And I'm sorry, you guys still having lag issues? Because that's concerning. Reading Dead House Gaze at the moment, and it's a slow going, and it should be slow going. Malazan, as I've said a million times, is like the hardest thing I've ever had to read, and I've read the Silmarillion. I won't give you money, please don't. How's it going? It's going good. I took it easy today. I only on and off, just a bit of lag, little laggy. Is it like difficult to see? Okay, I think this is actually an issue that's happening here. Okay. I might have to do something to fix this later on. Minor lag, but I have storms here. I have storms here too. That might be probably part of it. No, I think it's my internet, guys. I'm having storms here, and also my lag, my Wi-Fi in general has been like kind of crummy. So I need to figure out what's going on there. As long as the audio's fine, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that concerned. It's really important as you can hear me, right? This face is not why y'all are here. That's okay. That's not a good look for me. I don't look good with the head up. Apparently, my audio, my internet does this. I'm gonna call someone about it. It's why uploading videos is a nightmare because they drop a lot ever since I moved into this place. So I have to like try and time them to upload well. It's awful. The audio is great. That's wonderful to hear because this microphone I've been testing for like the last hour. And I've been pretty happy with the results. Shotgun mics are crazy technology. So for those of you who don't know, like a general audio receiver just picks up all noise and is like, ah, okay, just whatever's I'll pick up. And so for videos like mine, that's not good because it picks up any echoes in the room and stuff like that. And there's certain high quality mics you can get that reduce that, but shotgun mics reduce echo quite a bit because they have directional sound capture. So they only point at me and it like only gets the audio coming from me. So if I'm echoing off that wall, it won't pick up that echo as much. So I think that's really awesome. And I'm hoping for the green screens, especially since I moved, has been really echoey and gross. This will be a big improvement. Dude, you got to get yourself wired, not wireless. I know. I know. I literally have an outlet right there and I have an ethernet cable sitting there. I just haven't plugged it in. So I'll do it. Potato. All right. I'll do it. I promise. Um, I tried sleeping but failed. Guess I'll watch while I wait before I have to do an overnight. Wait, you have to do an overnight, Trissy? Is that overnight for like job or school? There's different things there. Look, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just a Patreon for your looks, clearly. Elia beam forming is crazy. It really is. It's amazing how you can do that. Speaking of tech, do you use a mechanical keyboard for coding? Back when I was coding, yes, I did. I actually built. I wanted to keep coding in case the channel failed because, like, right when I first switched over, I was really nervous. So I built a whole website for my channel just to keep myself in practice. I use a mechanical keyboard, and it's done. I just need to put it up. But then I realized, like, why in the world would I need a website? No one needs anything from a website. If you want me, go to my Twitter, go to my Instagram. If you want my videos, go to YouTube. Like, why would there be a website? So I haven't launched it, and I don't think it's financially viable to put up. I guess if I get bigger, maybe. But I coded this whole thing. There's a sitting repository on my GitHub of my website that I left there. Man, I love my mechanical keyboards. I can never back to using not ones. Yeah, I use a German one that I'm a huge fan of. I'll post the link in a minute. Done an amazing job with the channel, dude. The hard work is paying off. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. What mech keyboard do you use? I'll post in a sec. Overnights suck. Hope it goes well tonight. And I would be nice to save for. It would be nice to save for when you get your book launched. That's true. That's true. That's a good point. Oh God, yes. I have a huge announcement I wanted to give out to my Patreons only about my book. So, hi, let's get that underway before I forget because I'm a giant airhead. I have decided so there's going to be okay. I'm following the fantasy author cliche. All right, get off my back. There's going to be a main series, and that's going to be the books that I'm working on for a long time. And then first, though, I'm writing essentially a prequel to that main series that I'll put out first. I have like the first book in the main series, I'd say about like 40% of first draft done. But once I got that far in, I realized like there's a story I need to tell before, and I want to tell that story. So, and I think it'll actually make the series better for people to get that first. So there's going to be a standalone followed by a series, is the plan right now. And I'm really excited about that. And I've already kind of started outlining the standalone, but it got to a point where I was in the story and I was like, oh, I need to tell a different story first. So I guess it's like a Hobbit Lord of the Rings situation, but not. So there's going to be like a huh and then a ha ha ha. And the main series will be between 3 to 5 books. I'm hoping three. But you outline things, then you start writing them, and you're like, oh wait, no, this plot line, which I thought was gonna be a B plot, needs its own A plot book. So, yeah, so I'm going to be doing a standalone there, which I'm excited for. Big World, yeah, it's going to be a big world. Sounds like Rebecca Kwan talking about why she wrote Poppy War first. Yeah, there you go. It's something where it's actually, I think it's not uncommon. It's probably fairly reasonable to, once you kind of you build a world to tell a story, and then you reach a point where you're like, oh, this makes sense to me because I've lived in it and I've created it, but I need to tell this other story first so that everyone else can get what I'm going for. So it's kind of that pattern. That's cool. To be honest, I don't care how many books you write for the series. Just let me know when I can order 3 copies of the book. I have a Well, I appreciate that. And that's something I'm gonna be honest, like I'm already like 5 steps ahead of myself. Like I'm looking at like which cover artist I want to hire and things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a standalone first book followed up by a series is the plan now. Hi Daniel, this is the first live stream I'm able to make. Love your channel, man. You get me through my overnights as well with your video. Oh, that's awesome, Alex. I appreciate that. Yeah, I it's still weird to me that you don't logically understand or comprehend that people actually watch your videos as a YouTuber. Like it's strange to meet people who are like, I watch them, and you're like, oh right, people do that. Yeah, don't get too hooked on doing a trilogy. Don't want to get into yeah. uh, let's see. To be honest, the thing I'm most excited about is for your review of your own book. I will do that. I will review my own book, and I will be mean. I will be very mean. Uh, so long as your series isn't 14 books, I don't mind a prequel. Hey, I'm not gonna trust me. It's not 14 books. There's no way it could reach that length. Sounds great. Ha! I can relate to that, Daniel. I already know. I already know who I want to do my cover if I ever get around to writing. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think you see your favorite covers. What's going on with my? I got a haircut today, and she did something to this part of my hair, and I don't know what happened. By the way, getting a haircut with a mask on, not easy. Anyway, um, okay, being a 90s kid, I grew up watching a lot of Xena and Hercules. I have never heard your opinion on either of those. There wasn't a lot of choice at the time. I think they are both not good, but if you grew up on them, they're great. Do you know what I mean? They fall into that territory. I've seen both, and that's kind of the honest take there. Oh man, a self review that would be neat. It would be. I look forward to doing it. I actually genuinely plan on doing that, and I will do a tier list of my own characters. I don't care. I'll do it. Um, hey, remember when Wheel of Time was going to be a trilogy? That actually okay. I have heard from people that was actually never true. Robert Jordan just said it a couple times just like to advance his own publishing. Because if you approach a publisher with a 14-book series and you're like, I've only written this, they're going to be like, no. So yeah, sometimes authors unexaggerate how many books it's going to be. I, Daniel, just started supporting your Patreon. Appreciate your book recommendation. Good. I'm glad. A couple more people have jumped in. So I just want to quickly inform them as a Patreon, you get to first knowledge that I plan on doing a standalone book and then my series. And it'll be like a prequel to the main series. So there you go to the people who just jumped in. Not yet. It isn't 14, Daniel. I made it. Ha. I'm glad you made it. Let's hope Daniel is just slightly better at estimating than RJ was. Why didn't you just cut your own hair again? Because I hid this on the channel as best I could. When I cut my own hair, I made a divot in the middle of my head. It's grown out now. That was like my hair was like an inch and a half an inch, an inch and a half. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. What are your thoughts about growing out some mutton chops? It's a hardcore no. Even the barber today told me she was like, you have kind of a patchy facial hair. And I was like, you don't have to say it. um, but damn if Kevin Sorbo didn't have fun with this role. That's all that matters. People having fun. I'm getting desperate for a haircut, but the situation in Florida is getting bad again, so I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, man. Florida's been rough to watch what's been going on there. I'm sorry that's been going on. Hopefully, people will smart up and put on some masks. For the record, Daniel, I would love your tier list. They're hilarious and surprisingly informative. Oh, thanks. I don't plan on stopping altogether. I do plan on doing some more in the future. Fun fact, I was watching your channel so much that when I was reading Mistborn, my brain subconsciously picked your face for Ellen. Oh my God. That's unfortunate. Isn't he described as darker than me? Like hair-wise and like eye-wise? I don't know. I don't remember. I always just pictured him as the guy from Footloose. The guy from Footloose. What's his name? I want to say Kevin Spacey, but that's a no. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down and someone's gonna tell me who the guy from Footloose is. I'm looking at the bottom of the chat. Someone tell me who the main guy from Footloose is. How do I not remember? Is it Kevin Bacon? Thank you. It's Kevin Bacon. All right, appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, Kevin Bacon. um, let's see. Where was I? Fun fact. Okay. I need more factory. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Uh, let's see. Your video about Goodreads issue inspired me to start bombarding my Amazon friends about what's happening over at Goodreads. No clear answers yet. Well, I think they just bought it and now they're sitting on it because they know there's no competition. They would need real competition before they put resources in really fixing it. What video editing software do you use? Final Cut Pro. And I'm an Apple fanboy, so Adobe is the more powerful tool. I'm well aware, but like all the things that Final Cut do, I would never need. Like people are like, what if you need to make like a Doctor Strange portal? Why would I need to make a Doctor Strange portal? And there's probably a Final Cut Pro plugin that'll do that. So I'm okay. Have you started Assassin's Quest yet? My review for the whole Farseer trilogy will be dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m. See, it's Patreons. You get cool information. And then my review of Attack on Titan Season 3 drops day after that. Is Wheel of Time as overwhelming as it seems? I don't think so, especially on audiobook, but a lot of people will disagree with me on that. Friends who work at Amazon. Yeah, do you have any people who work on a specific show that I want to talk about? Okay, a whole lot of people yelling Kevin Bacon at me. Also, more likes. There should be as many likes as people in chat. No, man, this is a Patreon live stream. Don't worry about it. You don't have to like the video if you don't want to. This is just us chatting. Although if you do, I appreciate it. Let's see. Dear Lord Daniel, showing how young you are there. I know who Kevin Bacon is. All right. He was great in that cult TV show as well. Which one was that? That was a really good TV show. The Following. Following was good. I watched the first season. I don't know if there was more beyond that, but it was good. Let's see. Meanwhile, I only know it's Kevin Bacon because of Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. They are both 1 and 2 Guardians of the Galaxy are in the top 10 Marvel movies of all time. I think they're absolutely like the upper echelon of Marvel. Um, Meanwhile, they've been focusing on integrating Goodreads with Kindle. That's awful. That's a terrible decision. Don't do that. I don't like that. How do you read your work in progress? What? How do I read my work? Are you talking about my book or are you talking about like books I'm currently reading? I'm not sure. You need you to clarify there, Jeanette. Idea for a video on a tier list could be ranking the blurbs written in the backs of paperback fantasy books. Some are so bad and cringe, while others do a great job at hooking you. That's actually a really funny idea because I've noticed that and sometimes you can clearly tell the person was just asked like, "Give us a blurb," and they didn't actually read the books. So they're just like, "It's good," with giving no detail. It's like a fake review. I've definitely seen those. That's a funny idea. Excuse me. I'm on book 4 of Wheel of Time. I feel like the first 3 books I've had the same formula. Does the trend continue? No, it does not. After book 4, it gets different. It gets weird. It gets very, very different. It does follow like the typical book formula, though, of like there's a climax at the end, but that's how fiction is written. Except for a couple Wheel of Time books, kind of just fizzle out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, uh, I think the Wheel of Time the ending of book 4, and from there, just improves and improves and improves. Most Marvel movies are better than the Avengers. You talking about the original Avengers there? I think, yeah. The original Avengers is like a good movie because of what it accomplished and set up, but I don't think it's a spectacular Marvel movie, and I don't think it's above their standard. Um, Wheel of Time audiobook. I can't stand Kate Redding. You are the only person I have ever heard say that. I love both Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. I think they do amazing work. I don't know what Footloose is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. That is a meme. And Footloose is a good movie. I watched that and Dirty Dancing back to back, and I think I prefer Dirty Dancing. Both were outstanding, though. Both are really good. Great 80s? Yeah, 80s movies. Let's see. Just finished Sword of Kaigen yesterday. Read it in one sitting. LOL. It was good. It's really good. Sword of Kaigen. That's where I'm hoping fantasy's going. It's different. It feels unique. It feels interesting. It feels evolved. I'm all about that. Yes, the book you're writing. Okay. So I send it off to people. Okay, so thank you, Jeanette, for coming up and clarifying. I send it off to people I know who I trust to give me honest feedback. Ironically enough, one of them is my dad, who I've only used a couple of times, but he gives very, very honest feedback. And then another friend of mine, Morgan, who's been on the channel, and then finally another friend of mine who I'm paying because it's his job, and I refuse to not pay someone to do their job, to get just what they think. And then after they give me their notes, I try and just read it like I didn't write it as critically as I can. and that's generally the formula for right now, and it works out pretty well. It's not a bad thing, and I definitely do change a lot my second, third, and fourth times through a chapter. What would be the best advice you can give for pitching a book to someone who doesn't read a lot? Here's the thing that I'm going to say might surprise some people. If someone doesn't like reading that much, don't try to force them into reading. That can really just become obnoxious if someone tries to do it too much. Um, but I think if you talk about a book cinematically, it's more likely to get them to pick it up. Describe the book like you would a movie, in terms of talk about its atmosphere, talk about its things along those lines, and you're more likely to hook them in my experience. But also, don't force books on people. I'm not one of these people who says everyone has to read a book a week. If you read 2 books a year, that's okay as long as you're reading. If you haven't already, please check out Nicholas Ames' latest Instagram post. It features some awesome. Oh, I have that retweeted on my Twitter. I saw he put that out on Twitter, and I gave it a little retweet. I retweeted his Twitter. I don't. Why am I the way that I am? Is a question I ask myself probably once a day. Um, let's see a couple people answering each other. I love seeing y'all talk to each other. I don't know why. That just makes me feel like I have a community. Uh, you have any Witcher hot takes? I just started book Sword of Destiny and think its writing style really holds the book back. I do think that the author's prose are one of the weaker aspects of the series. I also think it's not nearly as hard as Malazan, but it's one of the hardest fantasy series to get into just because of the way it's written and because you have to have a certain taste to really get into the lore and mythology there. But if you're able to invest in the characters, especially, then you'll probably be good. Love Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. Started Fall of Radiance because they narrate it. I literally have gone on Audible and just looked at the books they've narrated and been like, all right, I'm gonna do that one because they narrated. Infinity War was far better than it should have been with so much going on. Winter Soldier is still the best MCU movie, though. See, I disagree. I think the original Guardian. No, 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 no. Original Guardian is not best MCU movie. Probably Infinity War is, and you can't count Into the Spider-Verse because that's my favorite superhero movie of the last 10 years. But yeah, Infinity War is outstanding. The reason it's so good though is there's no A plot. It's just a bunch of B plots, and they gave no real priority, and that way everything kind of feels really even. It's interesting how they did that, but it worked out extremely well. I don't like any of the Avengers personally, but I do really like Thanos as an antagonist. I'm not a fan of 1 hour long action scenes personally. Even Lord of the Rings had too much for me. Wow, Lord of the Rings had too much. That's a take right there. But I get it. I mean, that's why I put out a poll today on Twitter about how people want their action written, and I think it was around 8-9% people last time I checked responded that they didn't want any detail put into action scenes. They find them boring. So hey, there's definitely people out there who have that opinion. Kate Redding doing Uno and Captain Domon is hilarious. Yeah, it is. Their stuff has grown on you a bit, then you're hooked. Yeah. Kramer is awesome, but everyone in my circle friends thinks Redding is about the most boring flat narrator ever. Wow, I do not agree with that. Hello there, been a big fan. Got me back into reading with your Wheel of Time videos. Almost done with Knife of Dreams. Can't wait to have your book next to Wheel of Time on my shelf. That makes me extremely happy. Thank you so much. Holy crap. I love you. Got to get some sleep. We'll catch up with what I missed tomorrow. Peace, everybody. Stay safe out there. See you later, JK7. Hope you're having a good one. Let's see. Adrian Cavioli. What did you think of Attack on Titan season 3 or anime in general right now? Attack on Titan season 3 is better than season 1. I really liked it. So look out Friday for my review of that. I thought it was drastic. I'm still befuddled by season 2 and what the hell they were doing there. It was just a sharp downturn. I think so. I've had this discussion a lot with people now, and sorry for those of you who aren't interested in Attack on Titan. I'll make this quick, but I season 1 I was invested in and liked so much because of how much it was building this very interesting world and situation and setting. And so not a ton happened, but a lot happened with the world and the development of that. So I was into it for that. Season 2, it's like it tried to develop the most boring stuff for me, and it did it sloppily, so I just wasn't interested. And then season 3 was like, actually, we know what's interesting, and we're going to do it all the best we've ever done anything. So season 3 is I forget exactly what number I gave it, but it's freaking fantastic. There's no question there. Do you have any plans on publishing through a publisher or self-publish? I don't know yet. It depends, honestly, how big I am by the time I'm ready to publish, because that'll dictate how much sway and pressure I can put on a publisher to do what I want and things along those lines. Um, oh, I thought it was available online to view as you progress. LOL. I was excited to check it out. Guess I'll. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not. It's not. No, no, no. I'm not letting people read as I go. That would be insane. No, 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 no. That is not available for anyone but me. Have you been recommended Chinese fantasy books? There are several books I would dissuade you from reading because the translations are so bad. I've heard that about a lot of actually Eastern fantasy being translated. Apparently, it's rough. It's actually what's held me back from picking up a couple of the Indian books or books from India I've been recommended because the people who I've looked into have said the translations are bad. So I'm trying to find out a way I can do that without getting rough translations. Witcher is translated, yeah, and it's not translated great from what I understand. Um, let's see. I also tend to dislike certain tropes and trends in anime, like you've touched on. Just personal taste, though. I found that I really did enjoy Castlevania Netflix show. I've heard that one's good. Michael Kramer and Kate Redding are the best. There we go. We're getting some love. What would be your first piece of advice to a wannabe D&D adventurer? Uh, be careful about who you invite into your group. D&D parties can be destroyed by having one person in the group who just doesn't vibe with the group. So you got to get a group of people who really get along and actually play similarly. And once you get that, it's magical. It's the best. It's the most fun you can have, no doubt. I love being some Into the Spider-Verse love. I love seeing some Into the Spider-Verse love. That's one of my favorites as well. It's so good. Have you planned on doing the Fantasy Hive thing, reading female sci-fi fantasy authors in July? No, I haven't even heard of that. Well, I just finished Robin Hobbs. We're off to a good start. I'll have to look into that and see how much of a thing that is. Let's see. You need to rewatch season 2 of Attack on Titan, I think. No, I don't. So I almost quit the show because of it. Do you have any particular folklore that interests you? Egyptian. Egyptian, I find fascinating. Egyptian folklore and mythology and things along those lines is so batshit off the wall, next level. I'm such a fan. Their history is insane, and I love it. I love it so much. Action's messed up. Well, I hope that's not something you'll have to deal with. It says it's back now, so oops. Um, let's see, let's see, let's see. Season 2 of Attack on Titan had biggest reveal played out as if normal conversation. Effing genius. I'm sorry. Nothing there gripped me that much. I know what you're referring to. I don't want to spoil things for people, but eh. Yay, glad you enjoyed season 3. Hopefully you'll find other stuff you end up liking. Equals W equals. I hope so too. Ever thought about okay, let's move on from Attack on Titan. Not everyone here's in here for that. Let's see. Ever thought about making some kind of viewable document where one may see a list of books? I'm okay. Here's the thing. I've addressed this before, Kenny. I don't like sharing my TBR or what I'm currently reading. It stresses me out because I literally would have 100,000 plus people staring over my shoulder at what I'm reading, and I'm not about that. There's enough stress with my job. Don't need more. That is a big note for me. And I get that frustrates some people, but I mean, I have my TBR list on Discord that people are welcome to check out, but nothing that's like current and up to date and active. Okay, that's just more talking about stuff there. Moving on, no more Castlevania, no more Attack on Titan. If you were going to write a script for a video, how many drafts do you think would be acceptable before it's polished enough to record? I typically do one draft, and then while I'm recording, I just make any changes there on the spot that I want to. So it's a real smooth process like that because I'm super, I don't know, efficient when it comes to getting my thoughts down because of what I did in college and just how much practice I have with that. So occasionally there's regrets. Occasionally I wish I had smoothed things out a little more, but I'm generally very happy with how things turn out. Let's see. Yo, the group is definitely the most important thing for D&D. Had a 4-year game ruined by one person. I've seen that happen many times. Many times. Let's see. Let's see. You're a Buffy fan based on your you're a Buffy fan based on your tier list. It's a great show, but have you watched the spinoff Angel? No, I've not watched Angel. Have you read any compelling nonfiction recently? Let's see. Recently, what's nonfiction? No, that's fiction. I've read a bunch of historical fiction recently that I haven't thrown up. No, it's all historical fiction recently. Yeah, anything that I've not put on the channel for me has all recently been historical fiction. So that's still fiction. Sorry. But I recently did a reread of Pillars of the Earth and World Without End, which are brilliant, and I highly recommend. Um, how is your TBR list going? I'm refusing to add anything new. I've had so many authors email me like asking for more books to be put on, and it's just nope. I have what I have, and I'm not modifying it. And because it's impossible to keep up with demand. It's literally impossible to uh, to keep up with what people ask me to do there. So I just have to say sorry, no, and read what I want to read, what I know my audience wants me to read. If you want Chinese translations, I'd trust Kinley. Yeah, but he hasn't really translated much fantasy. He's mainly does sci-fi. Yeah, I've actually literally heard exactly that. Um, let's see. Also, Zomad of the Lost Memories. Okay, that's a show recommendation. What's your take on making a good fantasy world? I've watched the Sanderson lectures and wanted to hear your opinions on it and know where to look if you've made a video on it already. I've ranked fantasy worlds, but I don't think I've talked in depth about how I think crafting them should go. Controversial take. Sanderson's way of building a fantasy world is phenomenal for him. I don't like how a lot of people talk about his formula, which it very much so is a formula, as if it's for everybody. People talk about it like if you stray or you break from Sanderson's formula, you're doing something wrong, which I severely disagree with. Sanderson very much so has mastered what he does, but not everyone has to do what he does. So, yes, I think especially for beginning writers, his way of going about things is a really good starting point, but make sure to develop your own style and flair. I find that to be very important, and I don't want everyone just following Sanderson's rules for world building and magic building, because then we're just going to end up with a bunch of Sanderson clones. That's my hot take there, and it's one that I really want to stand by. Talking about history, are there any books about history you recommend? Well, I always throw that one Alexander the Great book in people's faces and then forget what the title of the book is. So I need to post that again in the Discord or something. Let's see, great history books. Man, I don't remember them all because it's been so long since I've been reading history a lot. I've been reading a lot of historical fiction, but not actual history books right now. That was a long time ago, and a past part of my life that unfortunately died when the channel became my life. A lot of reading outside the channel did have to go away. But I don't know. For some reason, when I read history books, I was never really about the authors or even really like, yeah, I just kind of bounced from thing to thing and had no like loyalty. I probably was bad because you should realize what authors you're reading and liking. Um, but I'm sure there's people who even do that in fantasy, right? People just pick up whatever fantasy book. They don't care if it's by Terry Pratchett or Goodkind or Jordan. They just bounce around. So that's fine. Let's see. You said you finished Broken Earth recently. Getting a trilogy review soon. More people need to read it. Yes, there will be a trilogy review of Broken Earth soon. I long ago since stopped having a TBR. It just gives me anxiety. I wish that could be my life, man. Uh, that would be good. I don't know if you said this before, but what sparked the idea of the series you're working on? You mean the books I'm writing? Or you're talking about the new video series I just dropped, where it's like best of which author is the best of writing? You're probably talking about the book series I'm working on. The magic system was largely inspired when I was watching Chernobyl. The plot was really inspired by a mixture of Greek mythology and island hopping campaigns that happened in the Pacific. And that's kind of the main mixtures there. It's a weird mixture. It's Chernobyl, island hopping campaigns, and Greek mythology, but that was the base plate. And that's what I'm working with. And it might sound weird, but I'd rather be weird than another like clone of everything else that's going on. And there's also a good helping heaping spoonful of Egyptian mythology in there as well. Because I love that. Let's see. I build my fantasy world for RPGs. Keep that in mind. Then when I want to write in them, I adjust things for more narrative and less gamey. That's probably a smart way to go. Agree with you on the Sanderson formula. I can see how it would be difficult for a new writer to try and replicate it and struggle and then get discouraged. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, writing is such a fluid art form. You really need to focus on finding what works for you and not someone else. Granted, something that works for someone else could work for you, so try it, but you need to find your own comfortable pace and go from there. Um, Daniel, would you ever consider doing a Jackbot game sessions with Patreon/viewers? How would we set that up? That'd be on Twitch? I'd certainly look into it, but I'd have to look into how to do that. It'd probably be a Twitch thing that I would limit to Patreons. That'd probably be the way to go. Have you thought about having an author you've already interviewed on for a second interview? I mean, I did that with Nicholas Ames. We did a tier list together. That was fun. And I know some would be open to it. So yeah, I have no problem with that at all. I'd love to have any back on who are interested. That would be wonderful. It's just right now I know everyone's very, I don't know how to say this nicely. Everyone's stressed the fuck out. Can I just put that right now? Like everyone I reach out to, I can tell is dealing with the world in their own ways. And authors and actors and directors, they're all trying to reschedule projects, and they're all handling so much that having some guy like me knock on their door right now can't exactly be like, like, oh yeah, I can totally, they're trying to enjoy the downtime they have. A lot of people think like, oh, Hollywood's shut down, so no one's working. I mean, yes, but also no. Everyone's having to do a lot of stuff that's really draining to fix projects that are delayed and in the works. So there's a lot going on there, and stuff is kicking back up now. So I just don't want to be one of those people who's just like, oh, come back on my channel now because I know you might have some free time, when I know that free time might be really precious to them currently. Because I know, like, man, the hours that I'm not working right now are really important to me, because like just processing the world is a toll that we're all dealing with. Um, it sounds interesting and not like anything I've heard of. It is important to mix concepts like that to find new connections. It allows people to find new perspective. Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate you having that take. Also, my opinion on world building is to get the foundation built and just have fun. You're creating a world and you should have fun. It's fantasy. You can make it. Yeah, that's actually a really important thing I feel like a lot of people forget about fantasy, right? Is they try and just like make something that's like a slog for them. And I'm sorry, but if it's miserable for you to make, it's going to be miserable for someone to read. Fantasy should be allowed to have fun. Even like one of the things I think makes First Law such a successful grim dark story is Joe Abercrombie is still clearly having fun with how he writes it. It's not just this misery that some people who too grim dark make, which that there's a balance there that's really important. Twitch is probably the easiest. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. More Ames. I love him, and his books were amazing. Yeah, Ames's books are. I just recommend them to another YouTuber today. They're so good. Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose. So good, so good. Planning an interview with Mark Lawrence sometime. I reached out to him a long time ago, and got a no, just because he's not really interested in doing that type of thing. And I was like, that's fine. And that's another part of this. A lot of authors, they don't want to be in front of huge audiences and all that. I mean, they're writers for a reason, right? They like to be more recluse, and that's totally allowed. I've been told by multiple authors no for that reason, and I don't judge them in any way, shape, or form for that. You chose a life where you didn't have to be out in front of people, and I'm not going to try and force you into it. I'd like to see Inkin Gibson or Av Kwong on again. She was extremely sweet, and she was hilarious on Twitter. She is hilarious on Twitter. I really would love to have Inkin Gibson on. I'm intimidated by her. The two authors I was like most intimidated to ask are Joe Abercrombie and N.K. Jemisin. I got Joe Abercrombie on, so now I guess I have to reach out to N.K. Jemisin, but I'm terrified because she's one of those people that's for writing. You can tell she's so smart, and that scares me. Like, she's clearly brilliant, and I'm like, oh, don't think I'm dumb because I use emojis a lot. You know what I mean? um, Currently on Small Favors of Dresden, by the way. Decided when you had the interview with Butcher that I was going to give it a shot. He seems like an awesome dude. He is an awesome dude. He's so funny. Loving it so far. I'm glad to hear that. I think the best books and stories are the ones the author wrote to cater to their own specific tastes because they are passionate. I agree. If you write something you love, then someone else is going to love it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not that all different. Someone else will pick it up and enjoy what you're going for. My wife is a nurse working with COVID patients, so I've been isolated since March, going crazy. Playing Witcher 3 and reading to stay sane. Twitch board game night would be rad. Well, one, your wife is a badass champion hero, and I respect the crap out of her, and respect you too for being able to do that and support your wife and all that. So good on you, man. You guys are awesome, and I'll be sure to get you into Jackbox games if we end up doing that. I'm conflicted on supporting Twitch because a lot of the stuff they've done, Twitch is not fair to their content creators. And every time someone like donates to me on Twitch, I feel bad because I know it's going to a company who's screwed over people's careers for reasons. I'm not referring to recent stuff. I haven't looked into that. I'm just talking about their general reputation. So I'm going to look into YouTube gaming as well because I know that's a thing. I also know Facebook gaming is a thing, but talk about another company I don't necessarily want to support, but we'll figure it out. I actually wrote to Ames when I finished Kings of the Wild and had a short chat with him by email. I've done that twice, I think. Yeah, he seems open. He's a really sweet dude. He's radical, and he's definitely one of my most anticipated books of upcoming fantasy is the third entry to that series. Um, Let's see. Which author said no? Do you regret the most, or do you not regret not having? I don't want to throw out a name and be like I regret this the most because I don't want to risk people like reaching out and bombarding them and being like, "Go be on Daniels." I'm not going to throw out names like that. Authors get enough spam, and I don't think I'm not trying to say that's your intention for asking that, not at all. But I don't want to, I don't want to do that to somebody inadvertently. You plan on reading more Jimson? Of course, yes. Granted, give me 2 years to do it because that's the timeline we're working with me. But I do plan. Oh man, emojis unsubbed. Hey, I dated girls who use them all the time, and it got me in the habit of using them all the time. Get off my back. um, let's see. N.K. Jemisin is probably more approachable than you may think. I watched her interview with Martha Wells, and she seemed really friendly. She was just fangirling about Murderbot. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Yeah, Jimson, I'm sure she is. It's just really smart people scare me, man. Rebecca Kwong, man, she's so smart. She scares me. Like, there's people who like she's she's achieved so much, and I'm sitting here yelling at a camera, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to reach out to you and be like, come be on my YouTubes. Like, I don't. It feels weird. That's what I'm saying. It just feels weird. Let's see. Oh wait, it's been my bad. 4 hours ago. I forgot what you're referring to. I remember when Childish Gambino referenced N.K. Jemisin and one of his songs, and I had a little fangirl. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Gambino's one of my faves. Let's see. N.K. Jemisin's super friendly. I've noticed she's extremely free with advice and chatting. She got cheated with her advances, though. They did her dirty with 25K for each Broken Earth book. That's absurd. Blaming girls for your problems, typical male. It's just what happened. I never used them. I dated some girls that used them. And hey, I'm not going to say it's a problem. I proudly use emojis. They're really good at being snarky. You can be so snarky with emojis, and I'm all about that. Plus, I get more clicks on fantasy news if I include emojis in the title. So emojis serve their purpose, and I got no problem with them. I will get an emoji tattooed on my face. Not really. Don't hold me to that. Fair. I read Twilight because a girl I liked was reading it. I think I read the first Twilight book at one point, at least part of it, because it was just so huge. I didn't finish it, I don't think. But I was too young to even like critically think about it. I think I was in like 10th grade. Was it 10th grade that Twilight became huge for me? I forget. Um, that's not an oof at potato. We've all done stuff to get like approval of people we crush on. Don't oof potato over that. No, that's totally fair. Oh man, you want to know the most cringy Daniel story when it comes to like girls and like grade school crushes and all this? Because I will go off right now. So okay, here is my like most cringe moment. I was in, I believe, 6th or 7th grade, and I was in an art class, I think. And I was just goofing off. I was a big goofball in early grade school. And this one girl clearly had a crush on me. I had just come in from homeschooling. So I had the social skills of a praying mantis. So I mean, no, wait, they eat each other. That's not a reference I should have made. I have the social skills of a dead dog. I wasn't very good. And so during the science fair one year, she sent her friend over to be like, "Do you like this girl?" And I was so nervous and so didn't know what to do that I pretended I didn't know who she was talking about. And then she came over and yelled at me. So that don't oof people over crap that happened in middle school and college and college, yes, and high school, because we were all awkward weirdos. All right. I'm tired of this whole like, oh, it's so cringe. No, if you were a child, if you're not gonna forgive someone for having that when you were a child, what are we gonna forgive each other for anything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can be an awkward kid. I am so sad to see that like childhood is dying in like modern society. That I hate that. Childhood is dead, and that's like one of the biggest losses of my lifetime. I don't know. Childhood's gone. Childhood is gone. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that I feel bad. I feel really bad. And I think I had a crush on her at the time. I don't remember. But I ended up dating one of her friends later on. So I was really bad in middle school. But that was like years and years, years, years later. I think that was like sophomore year of high school. But yeah, childhood died, and it's never coming back. I feel bad for kids. Like I remember when social media hit, right? Like social media hit when I was about a freshman in high school. That's when it was suddenly everyone was on that. Like I don't even count MySpace. MySpace wasn't even like totally like social media. It was more just like here's my resume of a person. But then like Facebook hit, Twitter hit, like then it really started being in every facet of your life, right? Because Facebook didn't into your life, or sorry, MySpace didn't into your life um, the way that all social media now does. So I can't imagine being in seventh grade and having to deal with like Twitter because like you aren't socially developed enough to understand that like stuff that happens on Twitter doesn't actually matter. You can't comprehend that because like when you're in high school, everything feels like it matters, right? Like if someone calls you a jerk, it ruins your day. I'm an adult and I had a homeless person spit on my shoe the other day. I didn't care. It was like, oh, well, guess I'm burning this shoe. That was like it, right? Because I'm an adult. I know people are weird and I move on from it. But when you're a kid, everything's world shattering. So social media, like I'm terrified if I ever have kids to let them go on social media, right? Because one, there's predators, there's awful people. Oh my God, I'm so afraid of that. Yeah, MySpace was just like, yeah, sorry for people who are just coming in right now. We were on a rant. We just went over my cringiest like story thing ever, and now I'm ranting about social media. Um, People my age still can't tell y'all Twitter's. I'm not gonna lie, the worst people I know at social media in terms of like the social standards of it are all 40 plus. I still know people who are like in their 60s who write Facebook statuses like Daniel Green is feeling this way. And I'm like, why did you make it in not the first person? Oh man. Yes, I was learning HTML because of MySpace. Yeah, that's how I first got exposed to coding too. And Tim was everyone's friend. Man, I saw something recently where it was like Tim from MySpace was getting crap from somebody, and they were like, someone was calling him failed. It was like, now Tim just does crappy photography, and his response was like, I sold MySpace for more money than you can comprehend, and now I do photography because I like it. Why do you think I'm a failure? I'm literally living my dream. And I was like, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. I don't believe you're serious when you say what's MySpace. Everyone knows what MySpace is. Um, and a lot of people are still surprised to learn that I'm 25. A lot of people still think I'm like 20, which I guess is good. It would be better if more people would take me more seriously though, because people don't think I'm like an actual adult. Uh, I've I've had handcuffs put on me by a cop. I'm an adult. All right. As soon as that happens, you're an adult. So that 4-year-old who made the news the other day because a cop handcuffed them, that kid's an adult now. Yeah, 25 Club, yay! Um, I also got in a long debate with a friend of mine recently about like, is it weird for a 25-year-old to date like a 20-year-old? Uh, I I I wouldn't date a 20-year-old, not out of like I don't think they're like a respectable person thing. I just want to be able to get a drink with whoever I'm with And if I can't get a drink with you, I don't think dating is on the table. I'm sorry. Potato just turned 26. Congrats, Potato. Um, my brother made a very dark humor joke that I probably won't repeat here because it'll upset some people. But it was about if they can't remember one historic American event in particular, they're not old enough for you to date. And I was like, that's dark, but maybe kind of accurate. 27 and 2 months. Happy birthday. Oh wait, Feb was 5 months ago. Yeah, time is flying by, but also simultaneously moving at like a glacier speed. It's weird. Uh, Very few 20-year-olds are mature enough. Oh, I don't think 20-year-olds be able to drink. I'm not saying they should be able to drink. I did not mean to imply that. No, 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 no. I actually think like the smoking age should be at least 21, and I think the drinking age should maybe be even higher because the amount of guys I knew in college who basically ruined their lives because they were allowed to drink was, well, I guess making it illegal wouldn't stop them. I don't know. Anyway, my drink of choice. So I don't drink much anymore because I drank so much when I was in Ireland. So that it just became like I don't want to continue this habit. But I loved, and I mean loved, Long Island iced teas. If you guys want to know why drinking was a problem, I was a really big Long Island iced teas guy. And I also really like just bourbon in general. I worked at a bourbon distillery for a long time. A. Smith Bowman, what's up? And so, not really a long time, like a year at most, but it still made me really like bourbon. And then I also really like tequila. I'm a tequila dude, but now I just don't I just don't drink that much. I'm much more a fan of pot because I'm much more in control of myself when I smoke, and it's a lot more like no ramifications. You smoke and then you're fine in an hour or two, and you don't have a hangover. Um, let's see. Long Island iced teas are just like get smashed on one drink, blackout in three. True story time. When I went to Ireland, I met this group of dudes. For those of you who don't know this about Irish people, if you're American and you start talking, they'll just be like, "You're with us now. Come and drink." And so these guys were like, "All right, we're gonna go drinking," and I was like, "I'll go with you." And we went out drinking, and they were like, "Get us something." And so I went to the bar and I ordered Long Islands for everybody because I was like, "Let's go hard." And I got 4 Long Islands, and gave them out. I had one and was drunk because I was only like 150 at the time, weight wise, and it's a Long Island poured in Ireland. And these guys were each like, let's get more. And all of them had 3 Long Islands. And by the time we left the bar, they were like, we're kind of drunk. And I was like, you guys are monsters. Like, how can you have 3 Long Islands and just be a little bit drunk? It's not a stereotype in Ireland. It's just like what they do. My goodbye breakfast with a friend there when I was like flying back to the US, he ordered a pint and it was like 9 a.m. And he was like, that's not weird. It's just a pint. And I was like, that's weird. You're drinking a pint. um, yeah. Yeah. Again, Long Island's and tequila. That's who I am, man. Yeah. Alcohol is much worse than weed. I will agree with that. I'm sorry. Of course, there are people not in the US here. Yeah, of course there are. Um, Shame on you for not being aware of the fact that I have a European fan base. Heart of Michi, sorry. Um, 3 Long Islands, just the start of the night gets you loose. Come on, Ireland. Oh God. I like being lightweight when it comes to drinking, though. I know guys who like pride themselves in having to buy like 6 drinks to get drunk. I'm like, why? That's like $100 down the drain at some places. I don't want to do that. I love that I can sip one drink and by the time I'm done with it, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I'm that guy, but I'm fine with it. I'm also so for the longest time I was trying to put on weight. That was a really big thing for me because I was underweight since until I was like right around when I started the channels when I actually started being like a healthy amount of weight because I used to be like 120 when I was this height, which is not a good mixture. And now I finally reached the point where when I went to the doctor, he's like, "You can start losing weight now," and I was like, "Oh, great, thanks." He was like, "Yeah, you stop." So I was like, "Ah, all right, cool. I went too far. Time to go back. Time to go back in the other direction." um, I prefer IPAs. I hate IPAs. I'm a stout and an ale guy. Stouts and ales. That's where I like. Stouts and ales. If I'm going to drink beer. In fact, I think there's a really good ale from a brewery that's like across the street from me in the fridge. I just haven't been drinking. They've been there like since I moved here. Actually, yeah, they were literally brought in the day I moved from a friend of mine who was like celebrating me being here. And yeah, then they just haven't been drank because I don't drink alcohol much. I'll drink socially. That's it. I don't get people who like after a long day of work come home and then just have a bourbon. I'm like, why? No, you're just gonna feel horrible. Like, I don't get it. IPAs are fit. I just hate how much IPAs are taking over the beer menus. That's what bugs me about them. Like a beer menu used to have a really nice selection of everything, and now it's like 50% IPAs, and everything else is crammed into what's left, and that drives me crazy. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Let's see. My friends never let me get Long Island's. They were watching out for me. I appreciate it. Your friends are smart. Um, I don't drink too much because I'm a heavyweight and don't like the taste of alcohol. Drank 6 pina coladas. Oh my God. At all inclusive resort, they did it. That would cost so much of an actual bar. Yeah, it would. Holy smokes, man. 6? Not in the middle of the week, but a relaxing Friday with a nice drink. I ain't too bad. I just don't get it without like friends around. Milk stouts brought up by MP Jedi 23. Absolutely. Love milk stouts. 100%. They're amazing. And what I really love about milk stouts, okay, if you're in America, I know this is available to you. Find Left Hand Milk Stouts. Left Hand's a brewery in Colorado. Best milk stout I've ever had. Really strong flavor with a great aftertaste, super creamy. Yeah, absolutely love, 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 love that one. I love how this conversation devolved in discussing alcohol. I don't even drink, man. I quit, really. Like I'll have one a month or two. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. And I'm sorry if anyone here is like, not doesn't like alcohol, doesn't want to talk about this. We can mosey on out of here. Um, Left Hand is a Colorado staple. Yeah, I think they are. I got my grandpa into them when I visited him in Colorado. He lives in a place called Estes Park, Colorado. It's like the most beautiful place I've been to in the lower 48 in America. The Estes Park, Colorado. I've been there to visit my grandpa and for a wedding. And it's just jaw dropping. And it's also one of these places where you can just run into a moose. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that vibe. But Estes Park, man, I'm tempted to have a wedding there. It's so pretty. Oh, wow. This person knows Estes Park. There you go. Small town that I think it's well known because how pretty it is. And the wedding there was really nice here. Daniel, I don't drink. Also, Daniel, I won't date people who can't drink. Well, you know what I mean. Like, if we're going to go out with friends, which I do, I just want to be able to, I don't know. Shut up. Don't hold me accountable for what I say. Hey, Noshi, it's good to see you here. Hey, I didn't know you'd been to Estes Park. I was in Estes like 3 weeks ago. Oh, what brought you there? If you don't mind saying, I love that place. And yeah, I love Estes. The moose are already everywhere in fall. Yeah. I can't, I really want to go back there. Estes Park is just stupidly, it might be the prettiest sunsets I've ever seen. I think the only more beautiful place I've been in America is Alaska, but Alaska's cheating. Alaska is just not fair. If heaven is real, it looks like Alaska. It's so pretty. Stanley Hotel, true. That is true. But that's not the Shining Hotel. Like the Shining Hotel, the Shining was shot at like 5 different locations and a lot of it was sets. So you can't say the Stanley Hotel is the Shining Hotel, but it is the hotel that inspired the book. So if you're going off the movie, no. If you're going off the book, yeah. But a lot of people misattribute the movie to there as well. I grew up in Colorado. I've been everywhere here. I went on a hike in the Rocky Mountain National Park with my sister. Oh, that's so cool. Man, that's awesome. We need to go hiking sometime. If I'm in Colorado, I'm going to hit you up, Noshi. That's a thing that will go down. You need to get ready for that. Colorado sunsets are amazing because they're across the entire sky. Exactly. Is that because of the higher elevation? I think it probably is. Yeah, probably is. Yeah, Colorado. So before I moved to Virginia, I moved to Virginia largely because of like COVID, and I just wanted to be closer to like my family and friends while everything was going down. And I also just wanted to like, I don't know, it just felt like a time where I shouldn't be moving to like an LA where I know nobody. So I came back here and I don't know how long I'll stay. Maybe I'll settle here forever. I don't know. My life is a giant mystery. But I was thinking about going to Colorado instead because of just how much I've enjoyed Colorado as a whole. Every time I'm there, there's really not much bad about it. I can't think of any negatives besides like it's cold, but it's not even that cold when you compare it to like some places. Um, Hey, there's some really beautiful places in the Midwest. You have like moving on. Also, criminally underrated. Like every time I see people list like their most beautiful states, people don't put Arizona in there. Arizona is stunning. Arizona, that whole like biome, I find to be beautiful. I really love like the way it looks. Yeah, I think there's a a whole lot of appreciation there that goes under the radar because I actually think that like desert landscape is maybe more beautiful than mountains in some ways, especially when there's mountains in the desert. Death Valley is jaw dropping. That's just my opinion. I like deserts. I was in Arizona for a summer, and while it was the hottest, most miserable summer ever, it was also like I couldn't stop going outside because how much I enjoyed the landscape there. I also went and sat outside during a dust storm, which then someone told me after the fact could plant some kind of weird spores in my lungs and kill me. Very happy that I did that. That was a good decision. I'd love to just travel to the US at some point. Dude, to all Europeans out there who have never been to the US, come to the US. Don't go to like LA, New York. They're basically giant tourist traps now. I'm not saying don't go there at all, but don't just spend 2 weeks in New York. I just don't think it's worth it. I'm not a very big city guy, so that's just my take on that. Instead, get an RV or a camper or something and just drive across the US and see all the nature that we have here. Because I know there's a lot of stunning nature in Europe too, but there's certain things you can only see in the US. And I'm sorry, but like the Grand Canyon, I've seen it. It's worth it. It's like so big your brain can't process what it's looking at. It's so unbelievable. Yes, don't come through right now. Someone just pointed that out. That's a very good point. Yes, don't come through right now. Um, but yeah, I've had so many Europeans who are like, oh wait, we got someone here who's swearing, so they got censored. Come to Canada. We have Lake Louise, Banff, Vancouver. It is oh yeah, Canada's gorgeous. I'm not trying to discount Canada at all. And you can go to both. Um, yeah, the US has more national parks than just about any other country in terms of square miles. Basically, largely because we're huge, and all of them are worth seeing as far as I'm concerned. I've never regretted going to a national park. Eastern Oregon is the most beautiful. Yeah, Eastern Oregon is amazing. It's so pretty. I've flown over it, but I haven't actually been in it. I was going to New York, but got canceled this year. I wonder why. Sorry about that. If you've been to Las Vegas, you've seen a lot of the pretty landscape around there. Las Vegas is gorgeous around there as well. Um, Anyone who goes to the US owes themselves to see the redwood forest. Redwoods are, yeah, dude. It's another thing that's like so big you didn't know. It feels alien. Like when I saw redwoods, I was like, this is alien. This isn't like earthly. It felt wrong to have a tree that freaking huge. I can't imagine being like imagine. I think about this all the time. Imagine being like a settler coming to the United States from Europe, like totally unknown landscape, and being the first person to see a redwood, and just like this is the biggest tree ever. We could make a city out of 3 of these because cities back then were like 4 buildings. But it's just, oh, I can't imagine that. And I'm getting lots of texts, of course. Sorry. Life never stops. Life just happens and happens and happens, and it's the worst. Um, Everything east of Colorado is a waste of land. Oh, I could tell you didn't need to put the /s. Everyone knows that's sarcastic. But also a little bit true. The west of this country is more beautiful than the east. I will say that. As an East Coaster, I will even admit that the west is more pretty. Like we have we have the Rockies, and the Rockies are pretty. Am I saying the Rocky? Yeah, yeah. We have the Rockies, and the Appalachian Trail, but it doesn't compete with the West. I will fully well admit that. No denying. No denying. Sequoia National Park is crazy. I think I've been there. I think so. Yeah, and we also have the best bookstores in the world, I believe, but I haven't been to all the ones in Europe, but I've been to ones in America where I can't think of how you'd top it. Um, the digital age makes it where it's nearly impossible to really have personal space. I don't know where that's coming from, but you're absolutely true. Uh, also, so this is like an underrated thing for VR, but I've been with VR sets before, and going into Google Maps in VR headsets is a thing, and you can see a lot of the places we're talking about, and just crazy beautiful detail and everything, and it's really worth it. So yeah, VR is cool for gaming and watching movies and stuff, but you can also see the world in a pretty immersive way, just for the cost of a couple $100. So consider that as well. That's just my 2 cents there. Anyway, it is reaching over an hour, guys, and I need to make myself dinner because it's 7 p.m. here. But it was so much fun chilling with you guys. We're definitely gonna do this again because this is so much less crazy than than doing it like with everybody. I can actually talk with people, so I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead and end this though. Thank you for swinging by and doing a Patreon live stream. We will do this every month, and I really look forward to that. Hartamichi, I will look forward to being on your channel and the interview. Guys, go check out her stuff if you haven't already. And I will talk to you guys again rather soon. Bye.